Hello, my friends, and welcome to The Chew. I'm Robert Wallace. This is the place where we ask, are we choosing the way of Jesus, or are we choosing our own way? Continuing to look mainly at the passage from Matthew 6, we're going to be focusing in on verses 22 and 23 today, and our human eyes. Verse 22, the eye is the lamp of the body. So, if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Now, I told my congregation Sunday when I preached this message that I've always looked at this passage and these two verses from the view of our physical eyes. And then as I was studying, preparing for the message, I learned something which I'm going to share later this week. So I hope you'll stay tuned in with me. These two verses are a bridge from the first 21 verses and the balance of the verses, verses 24 through 34. And to our Western eyes, this bridge doesn't always make sense. So we're going to dig into that later in the week. But for today, let's focus on our human eyes. We all know about our physical eyesight. It's one of the five senses. It gives us ability to perceive shapes and color and dimension, distance, and even orientation, whether we're upside down or right side up. They also take in literally everything that we see. Now, we may not pay attention to everything that we see, but the eyes don't miss anything, and the brain does not miss processing that information. We also know that this is true not just from our practical experience, but what does Jesus say? The eye is the lamp of the body. And I'm reminded that the eyes are the gateway to the soul. How often do we remark when we see someone that their eyes are shining brightly and we go, oh, they got bright eyes? Or if their eyes are a little dim, maybe they're going through a difficult time, or they're depressed, or they're just having a hard day. We gauge how people are doing to a degree based on what we see in their eyes, don't we? And the eyes are a two-way street. It's just not in, but we see the light of our bodies through our eyes. And that's why our eyes, our physical eyes, are not just important to our physical well-being, it also impacts our spiritual well-being. What we pay attention to is critical. When we see enjoyable, bright light and things of that nature, our spirit is lifted, isn't it? And conversely, when we see things that are saddening or depressing, bad news on television, a bad report, these things, when we see them, they have the opposite impact on us. They tend to drag us down a little bit. So what do? We need to guard our physical eyes, and we do that by choosing what we look at, what we pay attention to, what we focus on, and we can focus on things that lift us up. And I'm going to mention briefly here that we need to feed on heavenly things, on eternal things, and we need to be sure that we're giving ourselves the right things to see. And you and I both know we cannot guard our eyes from every bad, negative, and sinful thing that takes place in this world. However, we can intentionally work to feast our eyes on God, His kingdom, and our eternal hope found in Jesus Christ. Norman Geisler wrote this: concentrate your concern on the eternal, not the temporal. Fix your eyes not on what you see, but what is unseen. For what is unseen, or what is seen, is temporal, and what is unseen is eternal. And by fix here, we need to understand we're talking about what we focus on, what we pay attention to. Now, tomorrow we're going to be looking at heavenly eyes, and I hope you'll join me as we continue this progression from human eyes to heavenly eyes to holy eyes. For today, I have this questions. Do I understand what I see physically impacts my life both physically and spiritually. How do I, or how will I, guard my eyes going forward? What am I going to do today? What am I willing to do today in obedience to the Holy Spirit to do something about what I've learned? Am I going to choose the way of Jesus that leads to life and life in the full, or am I going to choose my own way? Now I'm praying for us as we go back and we read these verses and read the entire passage, that we're going to invite the Holy Spirit to give us eyes to see and ears to hear God's truth from His Word. That we're going to have receptive hearts and minds to receive these truths, and then we'll take a step of faith today with the same boldness, commitment, and courage of Jesus to do what the Holy Spirit nudges us to do. I pray you'll have a wonderful day, my friends. Go in the peace of God. Blessings to you. Bye for now.